Hey y'all, welcome. The y'all has taken over. I've been in, in Tennessee for about 4 years now, and I was actually born and lived in Louisiana until I was 8 years old. So those first 8 years, right, those beginning years are so powerful and influential, and so it feels natural. It feels like home. It doesn't feel weird at all, but it has taken hold, and I'm going with it because it's actually so much easier to say than you guys, right? Y'all, it's easy. Anyway, if you're new, my name is Tara Long, and I speak and share about many different things. If you're on my YouTube channel, you can see that I have a ton of videos on natural law recently and also mastering your energy. So check those out if you're interested. This one I am going to put under the natural law category. However, it is both. And it's something I talk about a lot, and I feel, I know that it's not something that I can tell you and then you go, oh, okay, got it, right? That's just like with anything. We are here to embody the knowledge, right? So it goes from our head, we get it into our, into our mind, right? Okay, we hear something, it either resonates or not. If it doesn't, you just throw it out. And if it does, then hopefully it can go down the elevator, into your heart, into your body, and you can then practice and live that. So, if you're here, you're probably not new to natural law, but maybe you are, so welcome if you are. But I really want to talk about this. I really want to talk about power, okay? And who's got it? Who's got it? Who's got the power, right? We have been conditioned to believe that we do not actually have the power to know what's best for us, to know what our body is doing, to know what what's truth and what's fiction, right? We've been conditioned from a very young age, and it's not just one thing, right? These are all connected. There's all these things that are connected. And so, and maybe it doesn't all unravel for you at once, right? Like likely you're aware, potentially, hopefully, of, the control factors in like education, for example, like public education in universities and things like that, and just the information that gets shared there, kind of ushering children and then young adults into a certain path, right? And this comes from, hundreds of years in this realm that we have been quote unquote controlled, so-called controlled by, and I'm not going to get into here what that is, and there's many different thoughts about what that is, and we'll just say, for the ease of this video, dark energy, dark forces, right? Because they need life and consciousness and a living man or woman who is at their core pure love. So we've got, these controllers that have been here for a while, and they basically, we're like, oh yeah, they've got all the power, right? All the people in charge of stuff, all the authorities, right? And these authorities and the people in charge of stuff, the men and women, are also controlled and infiltrated by these forces, right? That are here to keep us in fear and lack. And then we're easy to just control, right? So that our energy, our consciousness, our life can be siphoned, for these forces, these dark forces, right? It's a feeding. It's like we feed that with our fear energy, with our doubt energy, fear and doubt. That energy is what is feeding and giving power and control to these forces that are not real, who actually have none. Okay, they don't have any power, only when and if we give it to them. So How do we not give it to them? First, you have to know that, like, you have all the power, and the reason why the food is, poison, the water, trust me, I'm getting to good stuff. This is not a fear-mongering thing, but this is just the reality of the realm we live in. We've got spraying in the skies, and it's just a constant, the pharmaceutical death cult, Western medical death cult, not all of it, but 99% of it probably. The cult of quote unquote science or scientism, not allowed to question, not the agendas that we have going on to further us down the road of transhumanism, of not being in our aliveness anymore, of disconnecting us from our soul and our essence, so that we are not able to then sense or feel our innate knowing and intuition, our divinity that we are. Okay, you are a divine being, and you are. But however that gets covered up and clouded over and more or less cast out, unless and until you know that and you do take the steps that are necessary to come into more of your divinity as part of the divine, or God, or source, whatever you call it, part of that, right? We are all part of the divine. I'm going to use the word divine because I like it. You are divine, I am divine, okay? But that divinity is covered up and shut down unless and until we know it. That divinity, what is that divinity? Pure love, pure light. Okay, that doesn't mean it's always ooey gooey love and I love you and compassion and we're all in cuddle puddles or whatever, even though that's love too. But love knows, love is fierce, love is anchored, love is strong, love is boundaried. Okay, love knows, I mean, love doesn't know, love just is, but it allows us to know our worth, our value. So that's divinity. Divinity is the spark and the piece of us, the part of us that is that pure love. And that, my dear friends, is the strongest, most powerful thing in existence, hands down, in this realm. It's just the most powerful thing that exists. So these dark forces or controllers would have you believe that they are the most powerful, that is that energy, that dark energy of control and fear and lack is the thing that has the most power, and that you're just little old you and you got nothing. So this is what I want to say. And some people will never come across natural law and self-governance and sovereignty and these practices in their lifetime because it's not on their path, it's not on their journey, right? It's just not, and that's fine. There's no judgment here about any of that. However, if you're here and if you're exploring this and if it feels like, oh, this is truth, this is right, this resonates, yes, but you get stopped because you're afraid, or you think that entity or a government entity or a corporation is more powerful than you, then that is already game over for you in that regard, because that's going to stop you, right? And it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to have the fear and to be like, oh God, this is so big. It feels like David and Goliath. And believe me, friends, there are plenty of times where I have felt that myself, and like, I felt, I've had moments of like, oh my gosh, am I doing this? Am I gonna keep going? I'm in the middle of a court thing right now, just traffic court. It's nothing. It's not, there's no reason that it even exists. But so it's like, you're going up, and I'm going to share all of that when it's over. I'm going to share the whole process and how already there's been so many wins, and so much learning from my traffic stop to court to the next court. I'm going to share everything and what I've done and how that's unfolded, because it can help, a lot of folks. And that's the thing. If you feel called to this or resonant with this work, it is up to those of us who are called to to know and to embody, I am the most powerful. I am divinity. Divine is expressing and working through me, right? It's not just your ego mind. It's not your ego mind at all. In fact, I mean, yes, we have to learn and we have to, know what to do and what to say and embody that. And guys, this is a spiritual path, the path of sovereignty and natural law. Yes, even the paperwork. It is not just paperwork. It is not for the faint of heart. It isn't. It's not for, a weak character, and this is not judgment. This is just if it stops you, the fear of the ghost, the ghost of whatever, the IRS or whatever it is that is your thing, that's like, and so many people have, things have happened to people, Well, it doesn't mean those people did things in the way that we don't know the energy of those people. I don't know the energy of those people. I don't know. We cannot, that's just, and of course it's there to make you afraid. If you were to Google, revocation of election, of income tax, for example, you'd go down the rabbit hole of like, oh my God, of course, because guess who controls all of that? Anyway, I just want to say that if you are called and this work is resonant for you, this is a path to embodying your divinity as a man or woman in this realm right now. Okay, and yes, there are things to consider and doing things in the proper way and all of that. I'm not suggesting anybody just go be willy-nilly about this work. But it is not, if it's for you and it resonates, keep going. That is my sincere wish. Keep going. The more of us that do this work, and yes, the paperwork, and yes, be inconvenient at the airport, be an inconvenient person, man or woman. Be the person that they're like, oh man, really, we got to pat this girl down again, and yes, because the more of us that do that, the more light, the more little fragments of light, right? Everything is energy. You are affecting so much when you do that one little thing, and it's not a small thing. It's not a small thing, and it's not innocuous. It's not, to go through the facial recognition and to do, it's not, the word isn't coming to me, but you know what I mean. It's not a benign thing. It has a very big effect when you opt out and when you don't, right? So if this is your call, if this is your path in any way, keep going, keep going, keep going. And that will help you to embody more and more and more of the light and the power. And this isn't about being, aggressive and fighting anything. Because guess what the light does? It makes it so that there is no more darkness, right? There might be some shadows. You could have shadows for sure. And you got to transmute those. Right? And this work allows you to bring up the fear and the triggers, and then you get to transmute. It's beautiful. I could go on. I'm not going to go on. But that's what I want to tell you. Why did these dark forces, whatever we want to call them, we don't give them energy. They don't have power. They don't have power. We don't feed it. Why do they do all these things to control and to, get us all sick with the sky and the food and the pharmaceuticals and all the quote unquote government? Why? Because they don't have any power, and they are absolutely terrified of divine light and love, which is what you are. But You can only express that and be that when you know it. Okay? Know it, embody it. You only have the rights you claim. You only have the power you claim. I'll leave you with that. I'm sending so much love. If you have comments or questions, you're welcome to leave it below here. I will also in the description put all of my links for my website, sign up for my newsletter, get a 15-minute consult with me. You know, if you have questions, if you have something specific and you want to know if I can be support to you, you know, I help people with all the basic stuff, status correction, revocation of election, you know, these sorts of things, to get yourself onto the land, to get yourself back to a living, free man or woman. And then I also have a course on, I have my whole Be Free course, of course, which is, which is online, which is everything from A to Z. Well, not everything, but it's everything you need to get started, and more, and much more. And then there's my Create Your Own Private Membership Association class. And I also do all this work one-on-one if you'd rather have the hand-holding as you go through. I am also helping people creating private, irrevocable express trusts. That's a one-on-one thing only. Okay, I'm only doing that in person, one-on-one. But if you have a question, you want to know if I can be supportive to you, then just the link below, 15-minute consultation. That's totally free. And that's my, you know, my gift to just the world, to move this along, right? Because that's part of what I'm here for. So, okay, sending so much love. Talk soon.